Tufts, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about our entry-level doctoral program. Just as we go along, if you guys have any questions at all, everything I do is always pretty informal, so just type your questions into the Q&A browser, and I'll stop and answer them as I go along. So here we go, if I can switch to this page. All right, so again, some housekeeping, just if you make sure your microphone's muted and typing your questions into the Q&A. Then afterwards, if you guys can see right here, my email address is jill.aka@tufts.edu. So if after we get off of this, if you guys think of any questions, if you have questions or concerns personal to you about transcripts or your school, anything like that, feel free to reach out to me. Email is the best way to reach out to me, and then after that, we can maybe schedule a time to set up a phone call, or also if you're interested in touching base with current students in our program, I always think it's great for you guys to be able to connect with students, to learn more about student life, and sit here and tell you about the program, but I haven't been a student in the program for a long time now, so they can really let you know what it's like to be sitting in those seats. So if you want to connect with us students in our program too, shoot me an email and I can connect you with one of our current students. I'm actually an alum of the OT program here at Tufts. I have a bachelor's degree in OT. I graduated before the profession was even master's entry level. I came back to Tufts to do my master's and did my OT, so the clinical doctorate here at Tufts. So as I sit in the seat, I'm very familiar with the program. I've been working at Tufts in the OT department since I graduated a long time ago now. I don't even know the number. So in parts of my years as a practicing OT, I've worked in rehabs and hospitals. I've worked in skilled nursing facilities with geriatric clients. I've worked for nonprofits. I've worked for a program that trained service animals for people specifically with spinal cord injuries. I've worked for a robotics company. So there's a really cool company that's local to Boston. They did an external robotic brace for clients, mostly stroke or other neuro type of diagnoses. And I've been working at Tufts, like I said, since I graduated. I started off doing recruitment. It's morphed into admissions recruitment. I've lectured at times too along the way. So I'm very familiar with the department and staff and faculty here. So as you guys have probably seen from our website, we are transitioning from a master's program to an entry-level doctoral program. So right now in the profession, there's a mandate that all OT programs will transition to doctoral entry-level by 2027. We happen to be in the process of transitioning before that mandate even came out. So our new program will be starting with this next group that's applying. So we'll be starting the summer of 2019. So you would be applying if anyone's interested or applying now for this upcoming year. Applications are due October 15th, and you'd be starting in summer 2019. Our program has developed. It's actually I've been on the committee that's been helping to develop the doctoral curriculum. So it's been great to kind of rework some of our curriculum. So you'll still get all of the content from our master's program, which is really graduating you to be a generalist in OT. So you're graduating from our department to practice in the area. So you're ready to practice in pediatrics, school-based practice, upper extremity function, have the ability to be working in any setting that you're particularly interested in. But with the doctoral program, we're adding an above and beyond component to that basic entry-level curriculum. So now you'll have the opportunity to really specialize in an area of your interest. You'll create a project around that, working very closely with our faculty members. So I think that will be really exciting. They'll really have a lot of opportunities to work face-to-face and on an individual basis with faculty members here. Like it says in the slideshow, we're a collaborative, diverse, close-knit learning community. We have a new building that we'll talk about in another slide, but it's really great because I think part of what I love about our department and our program is that we really love to collaborate with departments on campus, specifically within our building, with such as human factors and engineering, community programs, early childhood programs, child development programs. There are all different on campus that we really like to collaborate with. We feel like as an OT, you're working with different clients in different areas, and they're being able to network with other departments on campus is a huge asset that we have. As a department, we're situated within the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, which is a diverse and unique perspective to our OT program. So any OT schools that you may be looking at, they may be situated in a medical school or a school of allied health. I feel like being part of Graduate School of Arts and Sciences really helps to set our program apart. Arts and Sciences brings that liberal arts feel to our program, which is really the roots of OT are kind of steeped within that liberal arts setting. So OT started after World War I and World War II, helping the soldiers find occupations to help take their mind off of their injuries or illness, or help them get back to assimilating into the community. So really, arts and sciences emphasizes that community-based, holistic approach to OT, as opposed to being in a medical school or a school of allied health, where you're focusing a little bit more on that medical model, and it's more health condition focused. So that's one thing that I really love about our program too, is having that liberal arts feel that allows you to live creativity as a student. As faculty, it allows us for a lot of flexibility and creativity within the curriculum itself. So entry-level OTD program logistics. Our new entry-level OTD program, which I said is rolling out next summer, will be a 9-semester full-time program. Students will graduate with an OTD, and that's a professional clinical doctorate. So there are still some programs around that offer master's level degrees, but we'll be transitioning to OTD program only. So everyone will graduate from our program with a doctoral degree in OT. After you complete our degree, you'll be eligible to sit for the NBCOT exam, which is our national governing board. So you'll sit for your exam, and after that, once you pass the exam, you'll officially be an OT, registered occupational therapist. Right now we have 100% pass rate for the NBCOT exams. Then you will be certified by NBCOT, and then depending on where you practice in which state, you'll get licensed by each individual state in which you plan to practice. Questions or anything so far? Again, feel free to type them into that Q&A board. Objectives. We are looking at and designing our new entry-level OTD curriculum. We really looked at what we want our students to look like, what we want our students to come away from our program with, what we want as faculty to deliver to our students. Taking a step back and looked at the big picture of what students looking like at the end of this program. So our slogan, educate, innovate, inspire, and empower, and we have kind of used these keywords to define what we hope our students will come out of our program looking like. So in terms of educate, we really feel it's important that students learn for the sake of learning and to learn for the sake of content. We love learning, and we want you to realize that you may not always have the answers, but you always know where to go to find the answers. So as faculty members in our department, they would much rather see a student exam and getting a B, but really understanding that content than someone that can take an exam, memorize the content, and spit it back and get an A. We really are pushing this. We're seeing in general a sense that students are coming in just natural nowadays, that there's a lot of pressure on students to do well at the undergrad level. This is a graduate experience. We really want you to learn and comprehend the materials that we're giving to you, to be able to process those materials, and to be able to use them when you're working in the clinic. And like I said, you may walk into a clinic as a new clinician or maybe on your fieldwork, and you may come across a client and he has the diagnoses that you haven't learned about in the classroom, but we want you to know where to go to find the answers. So I think that's really important, and to have that mindset that learning is lifelong, and it's really something that we want to instill in our students well in our program. We want our students to provide innovative and meaningful services based on client-centered human occupations across the lifespan. So does that mean we really want our students to, for themselves, think outside the box, and we really want you to keep your clients in mind. So at the end of the day, OT is a client-centered profession where you're using your client's own occupations, quote unquote, and by occupations, you're meaning things that you do in every life. So if you think of what you do when you first get out of bed, even out of bed is an occupation. You have to wake up in the morning, think about get out of bed. What do you do after that? Do you have a morning routine that's going to the bathroom and brushing your teeth? For me, I put my contacts in every morning. I come upstairs, I make a cup of coffee, I make breakfast for my kids. So, sometimes people think of occupations as more work-based tasks, but looking at occupations as things that you just do in everyday life. So we want our students to be able to find creative and meaningful ways to connect with their clients, doing interventions that inspire them, that really work with them to help them meet their own personal client-centered goals. So at the end of the day, you're working with your clients, you're interviewing them, you're finding out what's important to them, and you're designing your treatment around their own personal values. So we really think that's important, that students are coming program, again, knowing that learning is a lifelong process, having creative sessions with your clients to keep them motivated too within their sessions. We really inspire our students, so we really want our students to advocate and become leaders of change within the field of occupational therapy. The field of occupational therapy is relatively small. I feel it was installed in really tight-knit community of professionals. So there and I know these topic groups, and they would email me in a lovely way, and I'm in touch with them. So I think really seeing all these work together is really easy to get to the top of your profession, to make a profession, state level or national level, or just even within your own work setting. So we really want our students inspire others to spread the word about OT, to educate others on OT. I see your question, and let me just get through this, and I will answer that in 1 second, but that's a great question, too. She's asking how many students are in a typical class, so I'll get to that in 1 second. So, innovate, inspire, and empower. So we really want students to develop into leaders with passion for civic engagement, who are to address current and future occupational needs of individuals, populations, communities, and healthcare systems. So that's where the OTD part comes in. So our curriculum has been, like I said, master's level for these past however many years, but now that we're changing to a doctoral program, we really want our students to develop into leaders, like I said, to network, to become change agents, to really look at the profession, where we're going, and stay on top of trends and become leaders within these trends of OT and healthcare within the profession of OT. So first of all, I guess I'll answer Madeline's question. I'm not sure if this will be in a few slides down the road, but ours do work very closely with faculty. You come into our program on a first-name basis with all faculty members. It's pretty much an open-door policy in terms of if you have questions, you'll be assigned to an advisor, but just because certain faculty members, your advisor, doesn't mean that you won't be talking to all other faculty members there. So if your interest is in pediatrics, Peggy Morris, Dr. Peggy Morris is our faculty member who coordinates a lot of our pediatrics. So maybe if you have someone else as your advisor and their background is in neuro or physical dysfunction, but you're really interested in peds, the door is always open for you to go and pick her brain and talk to her too. So it's a lot of collaboration. It's like working in a clinic. Your faculty members are a lot like your colleagues too. It really is that open to reciprocal relationship that you develop with them. So because you're working so closely with faculty members, especially for the upcoming OTD program, where you'll be mentored by a faculty member, we are looking to accept around 30 students for this first entry-level OTD program. Historically, we've had around 45 students entering the OTD program because changes in curriculum and because it's going to be a little bit more time intensive for individual faculty members mentoring students personally. We are decreasing the number for the first few classes, number of students coming in for the first few classes into our OTD program so that we can make sure that we have all of the appropriate supports in place for you guys as students. Something I feel really important in our department is that we maintain a small student faculty ratio. You're definitely well known by all faculty members in the department. You'll have some really small classes, some small labs where you guys, you may be, like in your groups class, you may have only 10 or so students in class with you. Really do get to know all of the students and faculty members really well within the program. So really answer to your question, Madeline, but so about 30 students in the class. So WAFs, 2 minutes in this group, that's fun. Madeline Donovan, I'll get to your question in 1 second too, and this is another great question that you have. Keep the question coming because a lot of times I'll go off on tangents, and I think that these are all really important things for you guys to know. So what's tough? The first established OT program in the country. There's a little bit of history. We've been around for a long time. We are ranked number 6 out of all the OT programs, according to U.S. News and World Report in the country. We're located in Medford, Mass. I don't know where most of you in this info session are coming from. It'd be really interesting if you're from out of Massachusetts, if you type in to the Q&A bar what state that you're calling in or listening from. Located in Medford, Mass, and that's right outside of Boston. So it's a quick, like, 10-minute train ride right into the city. Our building is located very close to the Red Line, which is the train that goes right into Boston, and it's about a 10-minute walk from our building to catch the T. I mentioned before, we're part of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. Again, I can't stress enough how great I think that is as being part of Tufts. So I remember coming to grad school. I live in the area, so I live pretty close to Tufts. And when I was applying to grad schools, I pretty much picked Tufts because I could commute to Tufts. I looked at Tufts and BU, and I decided in my own mind that I thought Tufts would have better parking. So that was my really deep decision about applying to Tufts 10 years ago. And while I was at Tufts, I just found so many amazing things about the program, the community, and the school I was not expecting. And again, being part of graduate school in arts and sciences is one of those things. I don't think when I applied to school that I thought even about being part of arts and sciences, but it's something that I have become passionate about. I really feel, again, like it gives our program and our students that ability to think creatively and use arts and sciences at the center of the education that you're getting. Yeah, Chicago, Illinois, Maryland, Virginia. Oh, it's great to see one calling in from out of state, so I'm glad that the info sessions are actually useful for people calling in from out of state or from out of state. We have a brand new facility, so I think this will be our 4th or 5th year now in our brand new building. As before we were in this new building, we used to be in an old converted frat house on the outskirts of campus. And now we're in, as you can see in this picture, a brand new facility. It's very Google-esque in terms of the inside of the building, with a lot of glass classrooms, whiteboards that are available in the hallways that we use for classes like anatomy and physiology and neuro. A lot of collaborative learning between our students and other departments. We are building out a simulation lab space. Hopefully the simulation lab should be done by August. It should be done before our students come back in September. So for anyone applying, that will be available to you. And the simulation lab is a place that you guys can go work together. You can use testing kits. You can use, there's going to be media in there to watch videos. We're thinking that some clients in, like children for a pediatric lab, their concept of this is that all the walls, you can write on all of the walls so you can problem solve, use it like a think tank, come up with ideas. So that'll be a cool space available to you guys. We also have, within the building, it's 4 floors. We're located on the 2nd floor, and we have one classroom specifically dedicated to our OT students. So your classes may be in various classrooms throughout this building and potentially on campus. Many classes will be in 201, which is our main classroom, and there's also lab space available in that class, which is a small training kitchen and training bathroom used for labs, trails, and stuff like that. There's also on the ground floor of this building, our faculty members have lab space for their labs. So those are located in our building right now, which is exciting. Before they used to be on the other side of campus. Like I mentioned, there's many other departments like community health that we share a floor with. We have a faculty member that works both in community health and our OT department. There's human factors and engineering. There's a few faculty members right now are working on a grant with Rick's upstairs from us. So they have, they're working with the engineering department to create a robot that will do simple tasks for individuals. So being part of this brand new building has been a huge asset, I think, to our department. It really gets us out mingling, collaborating with other students and departments, and it really provides our students with many great resources, just being in this physical space. We also offer other programs here, so I think most of you listening in are interested in the entry-level OTD program, but we also have a post-professional OTD program and post-professional master's programs. So you may be sitting in class as an entry-level student, but you may have post-professional students in your class who are already practicing OTs that are coming back for either a doctoral degree or for international students for a master's degree. So I think the cool thing about our program is that you may have multiple students from different countries in classes with you. So part of the post-professional master's group at this point, it's primarily international students. So they'll be sitting in some of your classes with you. They'll be talking about healthcare and working as an OT in different countries, which I think is really cool because it gives you that global feel for healthcare. Also have certificate programs. So some students, working clinicians will come back and complete certificate programs for certificates of advanced study in particular areas. So say we have one certificate program in upper extremity function. So if you decide to take one of our upper extremity classes as your electives, then you may have OT community sitting in those classes with you, which is great to network with them, to talk to them, to hear about what it's like working in clinics with them, and just to meet people. A lot of times that leads to other connections down the road. So those are some things about why Tufts admins. And just back at these questions, make sure I'm not missing. Oh yeah, so I'll answer Madeline Donovan, your question. So in ways do Tufts entry-level OTG students interact with the community around them? What opportunities to learn from people and practices in your campus? That's a wonderful question. So your 9 semesters that I mentioned of coursework, and that's followed by 6 semesters that includes 6 months of level 2 fieldwork practice. And level 2 fieldworks are broken up into 2 3-month experiences. So we'll go to one setting for 3 months, and then you'll go to another setting for 3 months. Have questions about fieldwork. I don't know if I get into that a lot with this slideshow, but ask away about fieldwork questions. The way our fieldwork office works is that as soon as you start our program, you'll have the field office will be working with you, talking to you about fieldwork opportunities. We have our website, so it lists out all the fieldwork sites we have contracts with. Give you a description of the site and feedback forms from the last 2 students that have been there, so you get a student perspective on what it's like to be a student at those sites. And then you choose, I believe it's your top 6 sites you're interested in, and our fieldwork office does the best they can to match you within your choices, which is great because I know some schools just really assign you fieldwork sites. So we really do try to make our program client-centered too, and try to give you what you need and what you're looking for within our department. So you'll have your course that you'll be sitting in class for, so over the 9 semesters, but along with sitting in class and having your campus, there also are a lot of opportunities to interact with the community around you. So a few of your courses that you'll be taking have service learning components to them. So service learning is almost like your work. Service learning is something that's also aspects of Tufts University as a whole. Again, when I applied, not something that I was thinking about remotely, but something that I really found to love and appreciate about Tufts. So a part of Tufts' mission is giving back to the community that you're part of. We take this to heart as in the OT department here at Tufts, and the way we do that is through service learning. So our students, with some of your classes, you may go out to the VA department and you may become reading buddies with some members of the VA community. You may be going to the Boys and Girls Club in Medford and helping out there. So although these aren't formal fieldwork opportunities, you'll still have the opportunity to work with different individuals, different populations, which helps to complete the learning loop while you're sitting in the classroom. So you may be learning about something in pediatrics and you may be at the Boys and Girls Club. You may be able to say like, oh, I remember seeing the child and how maybe they were doing this as a fine motor skill or how they interacted in a group. So it kind of is, although you're giving back to the community, it's also really you enhance your learning experience while on campus. So you can see the slide, exciting opportunities await. So these are just a few of these things that we do. It's in the community. So this top picture is CarFit. For elder drivers, looking to make sure that they are really fitting appropriately in the cars, to make sure that they are as safe as possible. So we don't have, well, I won't go into that, but that's a cool opportunity. So you're working with individuals to make sure that the ergonomics of their car are appropriate and best for them. We have in this up-hand corner, an Empower wheelchair clinic that comes in and that their students have an opportunity to partake in. It's a wheelchair clinic where you learn how to use a wheelchair, because we find, you're going to be working with clients in wheelchairs, so we want you to have the experience of what it's like, how scary is it, like how trusting are you of the person standing behind you that may be guiding you up and down stairs, up and down curves. So having that lived experience. This bottom picture, bottom left from skiing, we have a level 2 fieldwork with New England Disabled Sports up on Loon Mountain in New Hampshire. So if you're interested in skiing, recreation, outdoor sports, this is a great opportunity. So for 3 months of one of your level 2 fieldworks, you may have the opportunity to partake in the adaptive ski program up at Loon Mountain. The middle picture is just one of our students who ran the Boston Marathon. There's a Tufts Boston Marathon team that runs every year, so many of our students have taken in that. And then the bottom right-hand corner is a ticket from a lab run, or have been running every year for, it's a day program for individuals with Parkinson's. So these are just very few of the exciting opportunities that we offer here on campus. So like I said, when we're getting back to the educational component of our program, these are all learning experiences too. So you're learning and you're sitting in the classroom through lectures and labs, but that's just such a small portion of everything else that you're going to be exposed to in our program and learning from. There's a lot of hands-on activities that happen within our curriculum. I hope it helped to answer your question, Madeline. That was a little roundabout. That you had service learning. There's so many undergrad institutions that offer service learning, and I really think that that's so important. And I feel like, as a whole, it's just as a people, is great to you're coming into our program really love helping others. So that's just a great way to help others while they're helping our community also. So that's exciting that you did that for undergrad too. So questions. Does anyone have any questions? The email here is rocca@tufts.edu, or you can visit our website for more information. But I definitely, if you guys have questions right now, feel free to type them in. Oh, yay, more questions. Prereqs, great question. A bit more about admissions. So like I mentioned before, October 15th is the deadline for this upcoming admission cycle, and then you'll be starting, here it is. You'll be in mid-June. The program will be beginning. So we require GRE scores for all incoming students unless you're a current Tufts student. 3 recommendation letters. If possible, we would like to see a recommendation letter from someone you've been out of school for 10 plus years and you don't think that's possible, then just professional references are fine. We are just not looking for personal references. Hours. We require shadowing hours, but we don't have a set number of shadowing hours like some schools have. I view shadowing hours is that they're more for your own benefit. School is a lot of money, so we want to make sure that you are getting into a career that's the right fit for you. So I suggest shadowing in more than one area. So if you shadow with school, maybe shadowing in a rehab or hospital, shadowing in a mental health setting, early intervention. I think it's good if you can shadow with 2 different populations or within 2 different type settings, just so for your own benefit, so what it looks like across different settings, because it can look very different between different settings, and making sure that kind of will help you tease out where you see yourself working down the road too. And resume are required, CV or resume, I should say, are required. This is where you can list those shadowing hours too. You don't have to submit any formalized signed copies for your shadowing hours. You can just record all on your resume, put where you shadowed, maybe a brief description, and for how many hours. It's all honor system. It's for your own benefit, basically, the shadowing hours. So yeah, all about personal statement and writing sample. Those are our website. So if you go under, I think it's application materials on our website, you'll see the prompts for personal statement and the writing sample. They're prompts for both these. For writing samples, we're not looking for a formalized writing sample from your undergrad. So just make sure you follow those prompts. I all applications coming in, and then I give them to faculty members for second and third reads. I really feel the writing section of your application is really where you can make your application stand out. So everyone comes in, you have your undergrad, there's nothing you can really do about that at this point. GRE scores, look for scores that fall within for above. So when you take the verbal and the quantitative scores, ideally we like scores that fall within the 50th percentile or above. On the GREs are a little bit lower. Your action. So receive 100 plus applications, between 200 and maybe 250 applications for these 30 seats. So really the prerequisites. So we require human bio and human physiology. Physiology, a lot of schools offer it as AMP1 and AMP2. You take AMP1, you need to take both sections, AMP1 and AMP2, to have the full physiology content that we're looking for. But with that being said, you can substitute anatomy for human cell-based bio. So you can take a combination of either human cell bio or anatomy and physiology, or you can take AMP1 and AMP2, and that would fulfill your science prerequisites coming into our program. That will be a little bit confusing. So if you have any other questions about that, feel free to email me about that directly. We require abnormal physiology, normal psychology, lifespan, statistics. All prereqs need to be completed on-site. We do not accept online or hybrid courses, and prereqs need to be taken within 5 years of your graduation date. So say you graduated, this is where you'll understand how bad I am at math. Your graduation date was 5 years ago, but you took, say, anatomy or physiology class your freshman year, or abnormal psych your freshman year. That still count and be count towards your prereqs. So it just needs to be 5 years from your graduation date in order for the prereqs to still requirements. So if you have any questions about that, I'm not sure how clear that was to you guys, feel free to take that and I can go over that again. We require full scores for students where English is not your, or coming from a country where English is not the primary language. So that's a little about that. I think I saw some questions in here, so I'm going to look through. You accept students where their prereqs are still in progress. So you can apply to our program if you have prereqs still in progress. If you're accepted, it would be a conditional acceptance pending that you complete the prereqs before you matriculate or before you start in June. Usually that's a big issue, and I definitely wouldn't be discouraged about applying if you still have a few, 1 or 2 prereqs in progress or that are still outstanding. Sometimes it's helpful if you make on your application, there's a list of your prereqs directly on the like, say, you write abnormal psych in process or planning to take at school. So that just gives up that adds up that you know that you still need to complete that prereq. That's usually helpful. So MES has some great new lab spaces. Can first year students be so research assistant positions that Melanie's asking about, you can apply for research assistant positions within your first year. The way site positions are given out is usually you come in, members, you learn about their labs and their research that they have going on. They learn about you and what type of student you are. So usually it's not right when you get there. It's a little bit into the semester when you get to know faculty and they get to know you. And also, too, depending on what funded research they have going on in the research lab, if you're interested in a paid position. But oftentimes, if you're just looking for the experience, they're definitely more than willing to have students come in and help out within their research labs. But yeah, that is a great resource and for people that are interested coming in with a background or interest in research. So, and you definitely get your fair you take class for evidence-based practice too. So even if not, there's still, you'll get a lot of research within our department too. So do I think in all past GRE scores, if you take them more than once, you send in all of your scores, we'll look at your highest score each section. So or above, if you've taken them multiple times, you scored better in one section than the other, would submit them so we can, or at least your two, where you top verbal and your top quantitative, I'd submit those two scores, I would them once. They're fit to confirm that our specific prereqs will be accepted. That, Emily, you can email me directly about that. So after we sign out here, feel free to email me any course and course description, and I'm happy to look at that to see if the can be substituted for one of our prereqs. For instance, sometimes research methods may fulfill a stats class, or you can use child development for lifespan development, stuff like that. But if you have any questions at all, if you think you have prereqs that will work, definitely email them to me and I can take a look at that. So that location on the application where you should note classes that are in progress. I think, just going back in my own mind, I think it's roughly on like page 4 application. There's a spot where you list out, it asks you to list out all of your prereqs on the application on page 4 or around there. I think it's at the top of the page too. You wrote all of the courses that you've taken, you write and your grade that you got in those courses. So right there, you can just fill out another line and write the course that you're or that you plan on taking, and just make a little note after that too. Also, any courses, if anyone emails me about a course, and I approve it as a prereq, but it's kind of a course that the course description doesn't tell you exactly what it is, you can write a note that the course was approved by me in lieu or for say abnormal psych or your SPI or something like that too. Another question from there's an area to input what other schools you're applying to. Benefit of this, or is it more information for Tufts? I don't really look at that. We have OT schools, so we compete with some top OT schools in the area, just because just located in an area with some top level OT schools. But I think when we're looking at applications, we're looking at you as an applicant. We're not really looking at, oh, they're applying to this school and this school. So that's something you can fill out. You don't have to fill out. That would really make or break application on our end. I don't know if at the graduate school, if they collect that information, maybe it's good for us to have down the road if students don't come to Tufts, so maybe we can see where students are going. If I've been talking to students, I tend to get to know you guys really well through the application process, especially using your personal statements and writing samples. So a lot of times if I've been in touch with a student and they decide not to come to Tufts, I think last year I heard from, maybe 8 students that weren't coming to Tufts, but just wanted to email me personally and let me know. So I like knowing where they go, just because I think it's interesting to track where students go and their various reasons, whether it's location, finance, or just the school itself. So it's probably more for stuff like that. But again, too important that you need to include on your application. Any questions you guys can think of that I haven't answered while you have me here? I know we have a couple minutes left. Thank you for listening in. I hope this was helpful. Again, if you have any other questions, feel free to email me. Again, want to talk to current students that are in our program. I have 3 admissions assistants that work with me. I can give you their emails or put you in touch with them. One more question from Emily. How common is it for OT grad students to receive aid? It's a very important question because, like I said, it's very expensive to attend graduate school. So students that are accepted to our program receive some sort of scholarship money from our department of graduate school. These scholarships are awarded on an academic merit basis, and they are typically between 10 and 50% of your tuition. So say you come in and you receive a 50% tuition scholarship. Again, it's not a loan, it's just a scholarship, so not money you need to pay back. You would receive that money within your first year. If you remain in good academic standing, so you maintain a B- or above in all of your classes, you would receive that scholarship for the next semester, last semester too. So also to maybe you would be able, if you're still on this, maybe able to help me out here with the exact number, but I know you pay the tuition for the first 2 years, and then your the third year of tuition is at a discounted rate. And I should know this off the top of my head, but it's just a recent change that was negotiated. So if you want to email me for that exact tuition price, you can do that too. So it is common for OT students to receive financial aid and funding. You also apply for federal financial aid. Through the graduate school, we tend to not look at your financial information in our department. There are also other loans out there. So if you guys look hard enough through, if you look on the AOTA website or even at your own state. So I think here we had, I think, if you look on your state OT association, sometimes there's some funding and money available through your state OT associations. There's also some smaller educational grants out there too. So if you do a Google search and look those up, it may not be huge money, but I know everything counts in terms of bonuses when you're trying to decide where to go to school. I think that would be helpful. Also too, for all of you still listening in, we are offering, if you email me after this, the virtual info session, we are waiving your application fees for you attending this info session. So if you email me after this, I can connect you with someone in the graduate admissions department, and they can waive your application fee. So that's a benefit you guys have for hanging out in here today. Any questions before I go? I know you guys are probably busy. I really appreciate you hanging out here. I do offer on-site info sessions too, so as it's getting close, your application being due by, if you're coming from out of state and check out these, I'll have those new dates for September, October, November posted soon, and you can come by and check out our facilities, meet with students, meet with myself too, if that's helpful. So questions? Well, guys, thanks everyone for coming in here today. I hope this was helpful. And again, email me if you think of any other questions that you have once we leave. All right. I hope you have a great day. Bye.